We exist as an energy construct. These are the vortex points, the colors here, call them chakras, wheels of light in the Sanskrit language. The vortex points in the body. When this goes through the decoding process, it becomes the holographic image we see as a human being. But it only exists, we only exist in this form when we've been through that decoding process. In this book, The Holographic Universe, great book where he pulls together, Michael Talbot, the scientific information supporting the idea that this is all a great hologram. He tells a story in here, which is so brilliant. That's why I do tell it quite often, because it's so symbolic of what I'm talking about. He attended a party which his father had, and he had a state hypnotist along to do party tricks for the guests. There came a point where the hypnotist is dealing with this guy called Tom, and he said to him, he's doing through the tricks, and then he said to him, when I bring you back to a waking state, you're not going to be able to see your daughter in the room. At which point, the hypnotist led the daughter to stand right in front of the father who's looking in her belly. He brings him out of to a waking state, or apparently so, and he says, Tom, can you see your daughter? Tom's looking around. No, I can't see her. She's giggling. He can't hear her. The hypnotist went behind the daughter, put his hand in the small of her back and said, I'm holding something, Tom. What am I holding? He looked bemused because it was so obvious to him. He said, you're holding a watch. He says, there's an inscription on the watch, Tom. Can you read it? He peered forward, read the inscription. His daughter standing between him and the watch. Now, from a left brain perspective, Professor Richard Dawkins at Oxford University or something, that's impossible. You're one of these charlatans. But of course, from a left brain perspective, it's not possible. But when you realize the nature of reality, it is possible. Why? Because his daughter is an energetic construct on that level. And unless her father decodes her energetic field into a holographic representation he sees as his daughter, she ain't going to exist in his reality. Everything else in the room is, because he's doing that to everything else. But the hypnotist has implanted into the brain the belief that the daughter is not in the room. So just like in China, where they firewall off the internet, his brain gets firewalled off from decoding that field. So she doesn't come into holographic reality. She doesn't occupy what we call space. He's going to be able to see what's behind her, because in his reality, she ain't there on that frequency range we call the physical world. We think the world is physical. Let's come to that physical. Oh, it's so solid. Oh yeah, walk into a wall, bang, it's solid. Don't tell me it ain't solid. But it can't be. It can't be, because it's made of atoms, scientists tell us. And atoms have no solidity. How can an atom that has no solidity make up this solid world? It can't. And it doesn't, because the world isn't solid. This is why when scientists have this bewildered conundrum between non-physical atoms making up a physical world, how can it be? Well, I can help them out. There is no physical world to make up. The atoms are part of the decoding process of turning vibrational fields and vibrational information into holographic form in our heads or in our minds. We make holograms, of course, in studios like this one. And for those who haven't come across it, what happens is you've got an object that you want to do a holographic photograph of. You have a laser beam. Part of it is diverted across the object you want to photograph. Part of the beam is taken away and hits this photographic film, where it meets the other part of the beam carrying the vibrational information of the image. It's like two waves in water coming and colliding. When you have, they call it an interference pattern in holographic terms. When you throw two pebbles in a pond, where the waves they make collide is a vibrational representation of those two stones their weight, their size, and where they dropped in relationship to each other. And that's the same principle as holographic film. It looks like fingerprints and stuff. It seems to have no form, no clarity, but you then fire a laser beam at this and bingo. An apparently three-dimensional image of what's been photographed appears before your eyes, appearing to occupy space, but not. These are all holograms. Some of them, the best ones, can look as solid as you and me. These are all holograms with no space, no 3D, just the appearance of it. There's the Queen, holographic photograph of the Queen. Very appropriate when we get to the second half. Queen's a lizard. You're mad.